Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. My email remains tmosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Back in the 1970s, Omega created a watch that was intended for Comex but never adopted by the Deep Sea Services Company, and that watch was the Seamaster 600 meters Plongeur Professionnel. That watch, nicknamed Ploprof for short, inspired the 2009 revival of the model. And for 2015, Omega decided to revise its modern-day Ploprof one more time with the variant you see here, which may be my favorite Omega dive watch. This is the Omega Seamaster Professional 1200-meter Ploprof. In titanium for its second generation, with a solid titanium no-date dial, genuine orange ceramic bezel insert, and now a master chronometer display case back combination. So a lot of updates for the 2015 to present version of this watch. Now, the first thing you need to know is that it's easy to wear, far easier than ostensibly smaller Planet Oceans. Why is that? Well, it's not because it's thin. This watch is 18.5 millimeters thick, and from lug tip to lug tip, this is where the fit comes in, it's only 48 millimeters across the wrist, even though it is 55 millimeters down the wrist. Although it does have a broad shark hunter or shark-proof bracelet, as it's sometimes termed, nevertheless, that is a conventional 24 millimeter lug spacing, so provided you have the right-sized strap with spring bar, it will fit, and you can accessorize through the aftermarket with this watch. Though I would prefer this beautiful titanium mesh bracelet and clasp to go with the titanium case. Now here you really see that the Ploprof is so much narrower than my wrist that when viewed from the top, it's out to the edge, but I'm really pulling tight here, which is exaggerating its breadth. You see what I mean about the watch being long down the wrist from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock across the dial? It's not broad across the wrist, and you can really see that right there. It is thick though, so it's not going to fit underneath the cuff, but then again, you don't wear this watch to disappear it. And I will say this, I've seen people wearing the considerably heavier steel version, full bracelet, on a daily basis. All in titanium, this is actually quite viable, ergonomically speaking. The bracelet, probably made by Stibe, which is a German company that crafts mesh bracelets. The bracelets are made in large woven carpets and then cut to suit, with the edges deburred and flattened and polished. And you get this wonderful souplesse. It's also a bracelet that breathes beautifully. When it's on the wrist, you can see how it doesn't trap any moisture or heat or grit or sweat. And it's beautifully made. A matrix of loops and hooks. Taking a look here, you can see this is clearly Omega's most deluxe diving clasp. Thick gauge grade 5 titanium like the rest of the watch, single fold deploy in action, twin trigger release. You have both an abundance of push button incremental adjustment and then the all-or-nothing fold-out dive extension. You get almost 50 millimeters of full extensible length here, so you're in really good shape for sizing, or if you just want to use it over a huge dive suit, or frankly, maybe even a space suit with all of this extensible length. Now, grade 5 titanium is nice because, like grade 2, it is hypoallergenic and lighter than steel. Unlike grade 2, grade 5 is also harder than steel and less likely to be scratched. So you've got all the advantages here. Taking a look, we have a little plunger. Now this is drawn from the original. When you press it, it releases the bezel entirely, so you can move it bidirectionally. Line it up with the minute hand, and now release, it won't turn. Take a quick look, and you can see there's no shortage of lume. The minute hand and the bezel index are both green, so you can quickly judge them relative to each other in the dark or in the depths. Note that all three hands are lumed, including the second hand, so you know it is running. And then the entire scratch-resistant ceramic orange bezel has been lumed, so you can read precisely the elapsed time, not just the first 15 minutes as on so many divers. Coming back here, the finish is quite nice. It's unique to the watch. There's this bevel that runs all the way around the case. Then the flanks and the case top are all satin. We have this vertical satination and profile, and if you look at the knurling of the bezel, you can see it's a combination of polished outcroppings and media blasted recesses. The watch has a dramatically different sort of telescoping crown guard. It's a screw down, of course. This watch is 1200 meters, and unlike the original Ploprof, which did not have a helium escape valve, this 1200 meter watch absolutely does. So if you're a saturation diver, any helium that enters can also leave. When the interior pressure exceeds exterior by 2 to 3 bar, the helium valve opens up, and it's nice to see how well integrated this is. This isn't the screw down, screw out that you find on Planet Oceans and Diver 300 meters. This is Omega's least obtrusive helium escape valve, almost Rolex style, self-activating. Now you have this crown guard that offers as much protection as anything, including Panerai, because you cannot perpendicularly hit the crown and damage it. Now as it telescopes out, you gain the ability to wind the watch. You can also set it. Note that there is a hacking seconds function, so you can stop the watch and set it to a known accurate reference time. You also have the ability to travel with this watch. Notice it's still ticking. It hasn't stopped. I can change my time zone hour by hour without disrupting the precision of my watch. And of course, I can always hack it and stop it. Now, the dial on this generation of Ploprof is made of solid titanium, and it's media blasted. You can see just under the hands it says TI, because this is media blasted titanium. And then we have these lovely blackened applique indices and Omega logo, giving the dial a clean upscale look. Of course, we have that orange ceramic. Remember when the only way to get orange ceramic on an Omega bezel was to pay $75,000 for a platinum Planet Ocean? Their materials technology has come a long way. Now, flipping it all over, we have a movement. Now you can see it. On the original 1200 meter Ploprof, you could not. Now you can. So this is caliber 8912, and you can see from the dial that is a master chronometer, which means it has been through the METAS test of a fully cased up and assembled watch, 6 positions, durability, water resistance, anti-magnetism, COSC chronometer testing, and beyond, including 6-position testing, not just 5, to ensure it actually exceeds the COSC tolerances. And yes, it is effectively an amagnetic movement with an anti-magnetic balance staff, escapement, and silicone hairspring. It's braced well against shock with a full balance bridge and a free-sprung balance. Tri-level coaxial as envisioned by George Daniels. Omega has finally realized the full potential of the double impulse direct and indirect impulsing tangential friction mechanism. Still the most exotic escapement you can buy for under 50 grand. It ties this watch to independent watchmaking greatness in Daniels and gives it a technical fascination that conventional Swiss levers, even technically competent and comparable timekeepers, those just don't have the appeal of this idiosyncratic system that's particular and exclusive to Omega. So now it beats away at 25,200 vibrations per hour. It's a 60-hour power reserve bidirectional automatic winding with twin barrels in series, which ensures that you have a nice flat torque plateau right up until the extremities of the power reserve. And then you've got 38 pivot jewels and a set of arabesque Côte de Genève across bridges and rotor with both blackened and polished screws. There's a lot to love about this movement. Quite exotic, also quite robust, reliable, and I have timed these repeatedly in 6 positions on chronoscopes and found that they tend to run between plus 0.5 and plus 1 second per day, and that is damn fine. If you love this watch, and I don't know why you wouldn't, reach out to me. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.